And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Fanboy Fridays, 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 Fanboy, 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 Fanboy.
Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Welcome back to Fanboy Fridays, Fanboys. I cannot express how much we hope your day is going terrible. I really, truly cannot express that. Because what I have to talk about in this video, to me, is a direct result of your king. Now, I know a lot of people already are having a reaction saying, how could this Ja Morant thing possibly be LeBron James' fault? How could this Ja Morant thing be Adam Silver's fault? Before we get into this, let me read this article from CBS Sports. Because as you all know, Ja Morant got in trouble for making the gun gesture, just a day or two ago. And it appears that despite the warning, he has done it again. So this article is coming from CBS Sports. It says, Ja Morant appears to make finger gun gesture again after reported NBA warning. Later hits game winner versus the Heat. Earlier this week, the NBA launched an investigation into Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant for his finger gun gesture he made during a game on Tuesday against the Golden State Warriors. Morant, who has a history of discipline for issues relating to guns, was ultimately issued a warning by the league, which viewed the gesture as a celebration that was not intended to be violent in nature, but was inappropriate, according to ESPN's Shams Charania. News of the NBA's warning to Morant surfaced around 11:20 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, yet roughly 9 hours later, as Morant's Grizzlies faced the Miami Heat, he appeared to make the same gesture again after hitting a three-pointer. As if it wasn't enough drama for the night, Morant later hit a buzzer-beating fadeaway jumper to give Memphis a critical 110-108 win over Miami. While the finger gun motion is not exactly new in the NBA, Morant is a somewhat unique case given his history. He has been suspended by the NBA for gun-related incidents multiple times, including an Instagram Live video in which he showed a gun at a Colorado nightclub and another Instagram Live video in which he flashed one in a car. There was also an alleged incident in which someone in Morant's SUV flashed a red laser pointer at an Indiana Pacers team bus, but the NBA could not determine if anyone was actually threatened with a weapon. In Tuesday's game, the 25-year-old Morant did the finger gun gesture in the direction of the Warriors bench as he walked toward his own bench after a timeout was called in the final minute of the fourth quarter. Warriors guard Buddy Hield made a similar gesture shortly before the timeout. Hill was also given a warning by the NBA, according to ESPN, as were both teams involved. When issuing discipline, the NBA does consider a player's history. That likely played a major role in Morant's first gun suspension, lasting 8 games, but his second extending for 25. As recently as this week, that precedent was enforced. Several players were suspended following a fight between the Pistons and Timberwolves on Sunday, but Isaiah Stewart got a 2-game suspension in part because of his repeated history of unsportsmanlike acts. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has broad powers when it comes to discipline. If he believes that Morant's gesture goes against the best interests of the league, he is free to fine or suspend a player. Earlier Thursday, the NBA decided that the gesture itself was not enough to warrant discipline, but disregarding a warning from the league, that could be entirely a different matter. And we're going to hold up right there. So, first, let me give my thoughts on Ja Morant, on just that issue. At this point, go ahead and get him out the league. Now, honestly, when I first heard about the gun gesture that he did against the Warriors, it really wasn't that big a deal to me. I mean, you know, it's in the game, you know, if you consider it trash talking or whatever. And I even understand the history of Ja Morant having with guns. But again, this is a gun gesture in the game. So I didn't think too much of it, but that is really irrelevant that I didn't think too much of it, because the NBA did issue him a warning. And right after that warning, he decides to do it again. This is what I have a problem with, is that he decides to do it again directly after a warning from the NBA. To me, thus telling the NBA and Adam Silver that, hey, I don't give a what you think. I'm going to do what I want. That's what I have a problem with. And add that on to his history, then yeah, at that point I'm like, hey, you must not want to play in the NBA. You really must not want to play in the NBA. I mean, this is completely ridiculous. But this is a bigger issue, and let's get into it right now. LeBron James fanboys, go sit in the corner and listen, or go sit in the corner and cry, or, you know, get in my comments and type as many haters as you want. But this is where we're going with this video. This is the result of the LeBron James era. This is the result of the Adam Silver era. This is the result of LeBron James being the face of entitlement and Adam Silver being the face of enabling. Ja Morant's attitude is rampant in the NBA. It just is manifesting in different ways. But Ja Morant's attitude manifests in Ben Simmons, manifests in Zion Williamson. It is stemming from LeBron James. It manifests in James Harden. It manifests in so many players that seem to take the opportunity they were given for granted. That basketball does not seem to be the most important thing to them. And this is stemming from LeBron James. This is stemming from what Adam Silver, the enabler, has allowed LeBron James, the face of entitlement, to do throughout his entire career. Now, the difference is LeBron James, he gets a pass because while he may not be toting guns and all these other things, even though he ran up on Stephen A. like he was some sort of gangster, though he may not be toting guns and doing some of these other things, the things that he has done in the NBA have enabled this climate of entitlement. The excuses that they constantly give LeBron James in the NBA has enabled this climate of entitlement. The fact that all of LeBron James' failures are capped for in the media has got us to this point. So while, you know, some of these other things you might not can directly say is the same thing that LeBron James does. I mean, just look at what happened this year. LeBron James' sense of entitlement has got so out of control that now Bronny James is in the league. And I don't care how he's been playing lately. That's completely irrelevant. We are at an interesting point in society to where nothing's important anymore. Nothing is significant. Nothing is sacred. Nothing is off limits. I'm a musician. And being a musician, I've seen what the limelight can do to people. And one of the things as a musician that I've never understood is how you get so big that music stops being the number one focus. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of artists out there who, when they're on tour or whatever, they have this writer and this list of things that they must have. It's like, gotta stay at a 4-star hotel, gotta have lobster in the green room, gotta have my favorite alcohol, and this and that, and this, and I only want green M&Ms. I only want green M&Ms backstage, and all of these things. And if any one of these things are missing, I just won't perform. It's in my contract. If any one of these things are missing, I won't perform. I've never understood that attitude because, I understand you can get accustomed to certain things. But at the end of the day, I thought the music was paramount. I thought music was the number one thing. I thought music was the reason that you are able to even make these kind of demands or make these kind of requests. But now it's gotten so, your head has gotten so big, your ego so out of control. The yes men you have surrounded yourself with has enabled you so much that now, if you don't have these material things, that you won't do your job. You won't perform music, which is supposedly the thing that you love. And I gave this example because this is the exact same thing we're seeing in the NBA. It's just manifested in a different way. But it's the same attitude of entitlement. I don't understand how a job that pays more money than most jobs you could get, a job that pays you enough money to set your family up for generations. I don't understand how you get to the point to where you are willing to jeopardize that job, except the fact that Adam Silver has made it so that you don't feel like you are jeopardizing your job. Adam Silver as a commissioner is the greatest enabler, and if the NBA collapses, Adam Silver will be to blame, along with LeBron James. Making more money than ever, these NBA players. And Ja Morant can't refrain from making a gun sign so that he can keep making millions of dollars. Adam Silver as the commissioner, I thought it was his job to protect the sport. I thought it was his job to protect the business. Not just make money, but protect it. Because there's plenty of ways to make money that is jeopardizing the business. For instance, let's say you own a multi-million-dollar corporation, and you're the let's say you own it and you put someone in charge who's running that business for you, and they decide, hey, well, you know what? If we sell some heroin on the side, we can increase our dollar amount exponentially. And they come to you, and you know, the next quarter when it's time for the financial review, they come to you and they show you all this extra money they've been making from selling heroin. And then on one hand, you can say, wow, you sure have made the company a lot of extra money with this side venture, but you are jeopardizing the whole company. You are jeopardizing the whole company. You are jeopardizing the future of the company. You are jeopardizing all the employees' jobs. So therefore, just because you are making more money does not mean you are looking out for the best interest of the company. To me, the person who is in charge of running the company is not only in charge of making more money, but they're in charge of doing what is actually best for the future of the company. Adam Silver has forgot that. Adam Silver is simply invested in making more money, and he believes that because he's doing that, his job is done. He's doing great at his job. Adam Silver believes that this ridiculous way of consuming the NBA now, the fact that he has it divided over so many different platforms so that he could create a bidding war and get as much money as possible, he thinks that's great for the NBA. But that is part of why the ratings are down. No fan of something wants to have to get a subscription to several different platforms just to be able to watch the games. Again, just because you're making more money does not mean it's good for the business. And the way he's handling these players is not good for the business because these players are entitled. These players will milk the business for everything that they can get and leave nothing for the future of the business. They will leave nothing for the future players. Players like Bill Russell and Wilt and Magic and Larry and Jordan spent their careers dedicated to the game in order so that they could grow the game to a prosperous place. And they did that. And then some. Only to turn it over to some weak-minded, self-centered individuals who could care less about the future of the game, who say they do. They say they do. If you don't believe me, just go look at the Just the Game podcast. I'm pretty sure on this recent episode with Steve Nash, LeBron James says something to that effect about how he's concerned with leaving the game in a better place. LeBron James, if there was a bigger lie told, only you could tell it. If there was a bigger lie than that to be told, you would be the one to be able to tell it. But yeah, all these past greats spent their careers dedicated to the game, respecting the game and the fans, to turn it over to people who are so selfish that it would be impossible to keep the game in good shape, especially when you don't have a commissioner who's willing to put his foot down. There are so many. Ben Simmons should be out of the NBA. There is no way Ben Simmons should be allowed to still be playing in the NBA. Zion Williamson. Again, to me, when you are having this much struggle staying in shape, and I understand that he probably has some legitimate health concerns, but he has also had a problem just doing what he needs to do as an NBA player. You know, he said it on Gil's Arena. And I'm like, you know, again, you are not respecting the position that you are in. You are not respecting the fans. You're not respecting the game or the fans. But this is the world we live in, people. We live in a world where, again, there's no integrity and everything is all about flash and clout. You know, everything is all about looking like you're great versus actually being great. This is what everything is about. And I'm getting ready to end this video, you know, because, you know, I'm kind of bouncing all over the place because this is just, like I said, it's just ridiculous at this point. But for those who grew up in the 90s, you know, grew up to what I think is the greatest era of hip-hop, to me, is the 90s as well. The greatest era of basketball, greatest era of hip-hop. And what's really interesting is seeing a lot of these so-called 90s hip-hop gangsters on the internet chasing clout. Like, on the internet, self-snitching, just like the younger generation is doing. And to me, that just shows you the deep need nowadays that people have for clout. And they will do anything to get it. And, you know, they'll do anything to get that clout except be great at whatever it is they do. Except becoming the best of that they can possibly be at whatever it is they do. Like, they are willing to get on, you know, they're willing to get on the internet and tell stories of, you know, that shouldn't be told on the internet if you're a criminal. But it's all about the clout. And this is in every facet of society. And this is why basketball has no integrity too. Because it's all about the clout. Like, I don't know what Ja Morant's problem is, but I do know that he seems to be fascinated with the street life while trying to play basketball. And not that there hasn't been those type of players in basketball, but they're usually at least smart enough not to bring it to the basketball court. You know, they're usually at least smart enough to, you know, keep it in check so that it doesn't interfere with their paycheck. But yeah, nowadays it's just gloves off. It's like everybody's chasing that clout. LeBron James is the face of that. And there is no better example of someone who's chasing clout and praise than LeBron James, who has a media company dedicated. I mean, think about this, people. LeBron James fanboys, you guys really need to think about this. I'm getting ready to wrap this video up, but really think about this. Why would someone who supposedly is great as your king says he is, the media says he is, why would someone like that need to have a media company to try to promote themselves as the GOAT? Again, we never hear Michael Jordan speak. And it all goes back to the same thing, is that if you are doing your job with integrity, if you are doing it for the right reasons, if you're doing your job because you love it and you're not chasing clout, then those things will happen for you. If you're doing your job and you can say with honesty that you have literally done everything you can to be the best player possible, then you won't have any need to try to promote your own greatness. People will see it. No, you won't have to tell anybody. You won't need a media company to try to bully people and to believe in the hype, people will just see it. Kobe Bryant did it. And again, I have to go back to this whole LeBron James, Kobe Bryant thing, because again, to me, Kobe is everything LeBron James wished that he was, and that is respected. It doesn't matter. Kobe Bryant went through his he went through his obstacles, you know, with catching the case and whatnot. He went through those things, but at the end of the day, because of how Kobe went about the game, because of the hard work that he put in, Kobe Bryant was able to win people back over. Kobe Bryant has the respect of his peers and the respect of the fans, just like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is revered by his peers and has the respect and is revered by the fans. LeBron James, I would argue, is not respected or revered by either, even though they will get on the microphone and tell you and say that they think LeBron James is the GOAT, or say that they think LeBron James is the second greatest player, or even if they say he's number 3 or 4 or 5, you know, they will say these things. But your actions show how much respect you have for the guy. The way you talk shows how much respect you actually have for him in comparison to other players. And the one thing I can say, I'm gonna end the video on this, people. Fanboys, I really, really hope your day is going terrible. Like, the NBA is in such bad shape, and every time I see something that is a reflection of how terrible the NBA is right now, it makes me hope that your day is going even worse. But last but not least, I'm gonna say this. I can say with certainty that Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Dr. J, Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, Allen Iverson. The list goes on. People just drop. After I say what I'm going to say, you can just add names to it in the comments. But LeBron James fanboys, I can guarantee you this right here. All of those players that I just named, I bet you anything that none of those players' teammates ever had to call them a bitch because they weren't playing defense. And we know of at least 2 of LeBron's teammates who's come out and said it. And we see the video of Kyle Kuzma pushing LeBron to play defense. None of those players I just named, I guarantee you, none of their teammates had to call them a bitch to get them to play some defense because they weren't playing defense, because they kept leaving the team to play 4-on-5. This is all the LeBron James effect. This is what happens when you have a terrible face of the league setting a terrible example for the rest of the league. When you have a face of the league who is constantly trying to lower the standards and change the standards for his benefits, well, guess what? The rest of the league is going to follow suit. And when you have a commissioner who is so focused on being liked by the players that he has enabled this, that he is too much of a pushover to put his foot down and say, I'm not going to let you guys turn the fans against this game, then this is what you get. So, people, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know this video got longer than I thought because, like I said, this is just ridiculous. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about, this whole Ja Morant situation. And again, LeBron James fanboys, I really hope your day is going terrible. Like, I hope Until the day you snap out of your delusion, I hope you continue to have terrible days. And I know I hope your day is going terrible, but I know your day is going terrible because there's no way that you can have good days thinking the way that you think. You know, being in denial is not a good place. Being in denial is not a good place. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.